everybody. Thanks for being with us today. Welcome. We're broadcasting from Fremont, California, Chicago, Illinois, and Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. I'll let you guess on who's where. And thank you all for joining with us today. We're going to give it a few minutes here for all of you to populate the Zoom. And you're all very accustomed to Zoom by now, but a little bit of housekeeping. Please feel free to ask questions in the Q&A or the chat box. We'll be monitoring them as we go along. And ask any question you like. We'll be happy to get to them as soon as possible. I thank you all for being part of Family Office Insights, and thank you all for spending your time with us today. Dennis, who you see on the screen there, and I have known each other, I don't know, must be 8 or 9 years. We met at the NASDAQ studio cocktail party right in Times Square. That's when we first met, and it's been a love affair ever since. At least from my side, anyway.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So Dennis came to me right before COVID, and we chatted with Max, and sadly we weren't able to get to a physical gathering, but we're going to have Max and Dennis with us talking today, and perhaps a few more times as they progress. And a very timely topic. I'm not going to tell you what it is because you all know, but let Dennis talk about it. But we're happy to have them. Lots of progress, as I've come to learn from Dennis and Max, and they're going to share it with you. So please, again, feel free to raise your hand, ask questions in the chat box. We're going to be recording this for the record and putting it on the Family Office Insights website, so you can share it with others and take your time and fast forward through things or focus on certain things and review it. And so we welcome you all. And Dennis, thank you for doing this. And Max, I'm going to hand it to Dennis now and give you a little bit of background, and we'll take it from there. Thank you. Dennis?
Okay. Thank you, Arthur. Hello, my name is Dennis O'Neill. I'm the Chief Investment Officer for BioMedican. BioMedican is a biosynthesis platform that is focused on producing rare cannabinoids and other high-value compounds utilizing our patent-pending biosynthesis process. We are focused on the cannabinoid side on strictly scientific cannabis therapeutics that are non-THC or psychoactive. We're going to start off first with introductions. The CEO, Maximis Mikhaav, or Dr. Maximis Mikhaav. He'll give you his background. I'll give you my brief background, and then we'll go into the story. Hi, Max.
Hi, everyone. I'm Max Mikhaav. I have MD and PhD in molecular biology. I received my PhD in one of the most famous centers in the world. For example, only 2 centers in the world have small virus selection. One is Atlanta, and second is in Russia. So in 2006, I moved to United States. I worked for several years for National Institute on Aging. It is part of NIH. And after this, for several years for University of Pittsburgh Medical Center. During my career, I was a co-inventor of multiple patent applications for gene therapy, vaccines, diagnostic systems, and others. So in February 2018, we raised a seed investment for BioMedican, and I'm fully involved in BioMedican since February 2018. Dennis?
Okay. Thank you, Max. Hello, my name is Dennis O'Neill. I am the Chief Investment Officer for BioMedican. My background is over 25 years of investment banking experience. I was one of the gentlemen that started 2 of the largest regional investment banks in Chicago, Madison Securities and Advanced Equities. And then I ran the SoftBank Investments E2 Capital office in Chicago for a couple of years. And I have taken dozens of companies public. I've raised a couple of $1 billion in early stage capital. I have spoken at over 75 conferences globally, many of them in Asia and Europe, on venture capital, private equity, and blockchain. And I've been with BioMedican since December because I truly believe that this is a multi-billion-dollar opportunity. BioMedican, we have set up a biosynthesis platform where that we can biosynthesize rare cannabinoids and other high-value compounds that are non-GMO, they're organic, and they are bioidentical to the molecules that you find in nature. The company has been around for almost 3 years now. We have 4 patents pending that are significant IP in this market. We could argue the best IP in this market based on the results that we've been able to produce. We've raised $3.3 million to date from 2 high net worth individuals. We've got a commitment for another $2 million from our current investor. And we are raising $10 million in additional capital for R&D and to build we have 2 products that are ready for large scale production, which we'll get into after this. So this is a proven technology. We have proven to be able to biosynthesize CBG, CBGA, and once we go into large scale production, we'll be able to do it for under $1 a gram. The current large scale wholesale market, if you're buying large volume, is $20 a gram. So even if we sold it at $10, we would have a 90% profit margin. The other product, which we'll go into later, is called astaxanthin, but it's a way for us to diversify our platform to show that we can do multiple different high value compounds as long as that there's a significant market in place for that. So what's critically important here BioMedican has a significant advantage over most of our competitors in this space. We have a legal opinion that indicates that we are outside the federal regulations because we do not touch the plant and we do not produce THC, and all the regulations out there are based upon touching the plant or producing THC at any point in time during the process. So what this offers us is a much wider distribution audience for us to be able to partner with distribution partners into multiple different markets. The biosynthesized rare cannabinoid market, according to Raymond James analyst, is expected to be $10 billion by 2025 and $114 billion by 2040. We believe that we will be, if not the leader in this space, we'll be definitely within the top 3, which should make us over $1 billion company. Basically, what we do when we biosynthesize a product or CBG or CBGA is we do it better, safer, faster, and cheaper than anybody else in this space. If anybody that's touching the plant will not be able to compete with us in any way, shape, or form because we're better because we have a pharmaceutical grade product that we produce. It's the exact same product every single time. When you're growing a plant, the product's different every single time. Number 2, it's safer because it has no toxins or contaminants. 3, it's faster because we can produce virtually unlimited amounts of any single compound that we biosynthesize because we do continuous fermentation, which means we harvest every single day, opposed to be harvesting, every 2 to 3 months or so. So we've been able to do all this because that we have a world-class scientific management team and we have strategic partners with significant universities around the world. We have 4 PhDs that are on our team. They have over 20 years of experience working with the specific yeast that we're using, which means that we have more experience than anybody else in this space utilizing this yeast. And we have strategic partnerships with several universities that we've been able to leverage their knowledge and resources to produce significantly more results than the capital that we've been able to deploy so far. And that's Denmark Technical University, Clemson University, Imperial College of London, and the Institute of Genetics in Moscow. So, our plan here is to, we have CBG, CBGA that is ready for large scale production now. We've ordered some of the equipment to start setting up for large scale production. We'll have that in place within the next, I'd say, 9 months. And we'll have a product that'll be ready to ship within by Q3, Q4, which there is significant demand for. We've already seen multiple different orders for $10 million to $20 million for CBG, but they want it right away. We'll be able to start taking pre-orders once we get into date certainty delivery, which we believe will be probably within the next 4 to 6 months. The other compounds that we're going to be able to produce is that we will be producing CBN, CBNA, THCV, and THCVA, and both of these, and then both of these will be ready for the market within the next. CBN. Yeah, CBN, THCV. Yeah, these will be ready for the market. We'll have them developed within 6 months, and they'll be ready for large-scale production within 12. We'll be able to produce these for less than $1 a gram. The current large-scale wholesale prices for CBN and THCV are $40 to $60 a gram. So as you can imagine, the margins are significant there. I think what's important to point out here is that we have a lot of competitors within this space. And at the end of the day, what's going to win this market is going to be your IP based upon the quality of product that you can produce it and how cheaply you can produce it. When we went into this, the business model that we looked at was that if we got a 0.02% yield to a 1% yield, that this was going to be a huge winner. Based upon our latest studies that we've done on this, we're producing CBG with a 5% dry yield mass yield. So this is 5 times better than what we ever thought it could possibly be. So as you can imagine, we're super, super excited about what we're doing. This is a big market. Our distribution model is very simply that we're going to be a supplier to anybody that has large distribution, either in CBDs, nutraceuticals, any type of health food, because you do not have to modify the compound. You can actually just put it right into the edibles itself. So,
Dennis,
yeah,
this is germane to your comment. If I can just have a question answered here, which is exactly what the topic is. So Charles is asking, you refer to being differentiated from the plant-based technologies, and he says that's given. How are you differentiated from the dozens of other companies pursuing biosynthesis and yeast, fungi, algae, and et cetera? So since you were addressing your differentiators, I thought it would be a good time to do this.
Yeah. Let me just start off with this. I mean, obviously there's dozens of companies out there that are trying to do what we're doing. There's only a couple that actually have real IP. So, and not only that, but some of these companies are violating other people's IP in the market. But at the end of the day, what is that everybody says they can do it. Nobody tells you exactly what their yield or their costs are for producing it. Based upon our intel, we don't know anybody in this space that's doing more than 1% yield. So, and we're getting a 5% yield right now. And not only that, but we figured out a way to be able to produce this utilizing 60 to 70% less sugar than our competitors, which means that we're going to have the highest quality, the highest yield, and the lowest cost. And the yield and cost, I mean, that will collapse the price significantly less than what our competitors are able to do in this space. Max, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, look, I can add a lot about IP, and technically, like right now, only several companies has strong IP in industry. So the leader potentially is Rare Cannabis. They patented multiple genes, and the strongest patented step is the production of aliphatic acid. So, Rare Cannabis has patent for aliphatic acid cyclase, which produces aliphatic acid. We have found genes which can produce aliphatic acid. And these genes coming from lichens, it's coming not from cannabis plants at all. So, technically, there are no other companies which has IP for production of albuterolic acid. So some companies, for example, Demetrix claiming that they have IP for next step, it's converting albuterolic acid to CBGA. And Aurora Cannabis also has a gene which is converting albuterolic acid to CBGA. From our experience, gene which patented by Aurora is not working in yeast at all. So we try to reproduce. If you're talking about Demetrix gene, very has high not efficiency. It's highly active, but it's producing byproduct. So in some reason, Demetrix claiming that their gene doesn't have any byproduct, but in our experience, it is, and they miss it. And we really patented this production of this byproduct. So it means that our patent, which we filed for making byproduct with CBGA, will create some additional issues for Demetrix.
Max, hang on one second. Lean forward and repeat that last sentence because it broke up a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, sorry for this. So basically, if shortly, for example, we have patent from our cannabis, which patent the conversion of albuterolic acid into CBGA. This patent is this gene is not working in our experience. And also Demetrix also reported that this gene is not working well. So it's mean at least two sources I can tell you that it's not working well. So the next patent is belong to company Demetrix. They patent gene CBGA. This gene is Demetrix claiming that it's producing highly efficiently CBGA and don't have any byproduct. In our experience, this gene is highly active, but it's producing a relatively large amount of byproducts, CBGA. Demetrix never reported about this byproduct, and looks like they miss it. So CBGA, we patented production CBGA using same gene recently in August. So it's mean that potential Demetrix will have issues with production CBGA. They also will have issues with production of regular CBGA because they always will have a byproduct if they're using CSPT4 gene. So that's basically on high level IP. So of course, if you're interested more, I can provide you much more information, but it will take probably too much time for all details.
Yeah, I wanted to follow up. There's a couple more questions here. And one of the questions is that we can send you a copy of the legal opinion. Anybody that would like to see it, we're happy to share that. We do have a full due diligence room. And as far as our level of comfort within, if we're comfortable with the position that the government is not going to regulate cannabinoids, you have to understand one thing is that these are known compounds known to be safe. They are no different than vitamin C, D, or turmeric or something like that. It basically would be under the nutraceutical category because it does not touch the plant. It has zero psycho activity in it, and I think worst case scenario that we would have to do would be a safety studies. But based upon what we know, I mean, CBGA has had over 50 clinical trials on it. So I think there is a significant amount of evidence in the public domain that it's safe and that it's known to be safe and with zero side effects. They would have to pass new laws to cover specifically this. And then if you're going to cover specifically this, you might as well cover all the vitamins and all the minerals and herbs that are sold at, the vitamin shops, because we have the same risk as taking vitamin C or something like that.
Dennis, not everybody can see the chat box. If you're comfortable in sharing the counsel, the law firm that gave the opinion
Yeah. Oh, Max, who's the law firm that gave the opinion? Oh, no, it's Goodwin Law. Sorry, Goodwin Law.
Great. Not everybody can see that Max answered.
Okay, sure. Yeah, no, not a problem.
Okay. All right. Continue, Dennis.
Okay, so the last thing that we have to prove out that we have a biosynthesis platform that can target pretty much any type of high value compound, and to show that, you know, we're diversified outside of just the cannabinoid market. We have biosynthesized a compound called astaxanthin, which is the strongest antioxidant in the world. It's 6,000 times stronger than vitamin C. Human consumption is going up significantly. And but the primary market for astaxanthin is fish feed and cattle feed, primarily trout and salmon feed. So we biosynthesize this. We have a product that is non-GMO, organic, identical to the molecule found in nature. And we can do it for about 90% less than what's being sold into the market today, which is a chemical synthetic that has all, I mean, you can't even give it to humans. It's so bad. So we are in testing now with two of the largest buyers of astaxanthin in the world. They buy hundreds of millions of dollars per year. Once we get the tests for the bioavailability and the stability, we're expecting that we'll have tens of millions of dollars in orders by Q3 next year, and there's no limit to. I mean, this has an established market. I mean, it's a large market that can easily be disrupted, and basically you're selling a GMO organic product that is cheaper than chemically synthetic products to people that buy hundreds of millions of dollars of this. So as we see other markets that are large, they can easily be disrupted. We can biosynthesize pretty much any compound. It's that we just want to make sure that there's a market there to disrupt. So basically, I think that we're looking for $10 million now. It'll complete our R&D to do the rest of our to be able to produce CBN, THCV, and we'll be in large scale production. We'll have a smaller facility in California in Fremont, and then we'll have a much larger facility with a contract manufacturer that will produce. And then ultimately, what we want to do is start building these facilities around the world, because just so that we don't have any jurisdiction issues for moving this stuff over the border. And basically they cost $15 million to build. They're much smaller facilities. And I think one of the benefits of what we do is that, this is a sustainability project. This is a green project. We use about 90% less energy and resources than somebody growing cannabis to harvest and extract and purify to do, rare cannabinoids.
Dennis,
Max, you want to add anything before we open it up to more questions?
No, I'm open for questions.
Yeah, so I mean, we're very, very excited about the future here. I mean, obviously, we know there's competitors in the space. But at the end of the day, we know that we can produce this with utilizing 60 to 70% less sugar, which is the main ingredient in biosynthesis. And our yields are at 5%. And we don't know anybody that's even coming remotely close to that. So that's kind of like the 1-2 punch. You have significantly higher yield and significantly lower costs for producing. We may not be the number one player in this space, but we feel very confident we'll be within the top 3 for sure. And, it's expected to be a $10 billion market by 2025. So this coming from a couple $100 million last year. So as you can see, that this should be one of the fastest growing markets in the world. Max, they want to talk a little bit about our IP. Do you want to take that over?
Yes. We have four patents right now pending, and several of them, 2 of them already available. You can take a look, you can find them. So first, our patent is to use oil yeast for production of cannabinoids. So the idea is that cannabinoids and oils, production of cannabinoids and oils in the cells is very related. Both of them require the same precursor, and also cannabinoids toxic for cells, including for cannabis plants. It's why cannabis producing cannabinoids in special glands, and it's producing starting from THCA or CBGA. It's producing outside cells, not inside. So in our case, we're using.
Hey, Max, you're starting to break up a little bit. You're starting to break up. Can you close a couple of windows or something? Or maybe turn the video off as you're talking?
Yeah, probably turn off video. It's probably the only option which will help. 1 second. 1 second, we'll try to turn off video. Perfect. So basically,
Max, that's actually worse.
That's worse. Can you hear me?
I mean, do you have any other windows open? Can you close all the other windows that you have open? That way, you might have more bandwidth.
Less likely there are no active windows, which is active.
All right, you're better now. You're better now.
Yeah, it's just connection.
Okay.
So here is again question. We have 4 patents application, and the first is again about oil-based. So and the production of cannabinoids is really connected because it's using same precursors and has a similar requirement for cells. So it's first. Second is
Hey Max, you're breaking up really bad. Max, you're breaking.
Yeah, I don't think in this case I can improve this because it's only connection which we have. It's dedicated fiber, but looks like not working well.
Well, you're coming in nice now. You might want to start over on from the beginning on the patents, just so that. Let me turn mine off, just in case there's anything happening.
Max, just sit exactly where you are and don't move.
Okay, I will try. So again, like production oils and cannabinoids is extremely connected. It requires same precursor and same compounds inside cells. So it is our first patent application. So we patented of using of oily yeast, and we define oily yeast as any yeast strains which has the production of oils above 5% from dry cell mass, and or specific gene AC1 has like increased expression of gene AC1 as a must. So this is the first option. Second part was
Max, you're coming in really bad right now.
Yeah. Probably in this case, it's probably
better now.
Speak about IP separately. Yeah, I don't think it's.
We can have anybody that would like to drill down on the IP. We've had one of the patents that can be, it's public now, and we have a couple of other ones. One of the patents that we have is for a new class of cannabinoids, and so that it was only spoken about once in 2011. We were the only ones that found out how to produce this rare cannabinoid, and that so we will own a class of these cannabinoids. So all these cannabinoids have some benefit. I don't know if this is the holy grail or not, but it potentially could be. But in any case, this will be something that'll probably pay significantly in the next couple of years. We do have, I think Max can talk to you offline specifically about the details of the other patents and how that they size up to some of the other IP in the space. We've looked at everybody else's IP. We have a lot of intel on exactly where they're at in progress as far as yields and things of that sort. At least we have secondhand information, I should say, on that. But the one thing we do know is that we are we're doing significantly better on yields than anybody else than we know in the space. So we think that ultimately we're going to have we're going to end up owning a significant chunk of this market.
So Dennis, there's a question here. If I can read it to you, it's a little involved, but maybe you can answer it. Revenue from existing CBG isolate might be $20 per gram, but the cost of producing CBG isolate at 99.9% from plant-based biomass, not including the biomass now around 20% potency, is 35 cents per gram. It doesn't seem the technology is competitive with plant-based extraction, which is what you're suggesting it is, Dennis. Mm-hmm. But if it turns out, why not scale CBD isolate, since CBD has a larger demand and harder to achieve potency levels in a plant than CBG? And you can see that question. I just wanted to read it.
Okay. No, I mean, I must have missed it. But yeah, I mean, basically what I can speak to is that, we're looking at CBG, CBGA. CBGA is currently at about $20 per gram. We know that we're really not competing against the growers, as we indicated initially. Basically, they can't compete with biosynthesis in any way, shape, or form. The CBD markets are, it's a saturated market, and that we're trying to target the higher priced rare cannabinoids that have markets around them, like CBG, CBGA, CBN, CBNA, and then THCV, THCVA. And these markets, you'll find out that some of the technologies out there can only do a couple of the cannabinoids. They can't do all of them. And then you'll find out that, people can forecast whatever that they want in these markets. We're going to produce a 99% plus pure pharmaceutical grade product, and we're going to be able to do it significantly less than anybody else in the space. Based upon two things: our yield at 5%, and our cost to produce, which will be 60 to 70% less than what they're currently doing. So maybe that they'll try to catch up in some way, shape, or form. But we have a massive advantage here, and at the end of the day, IP is going to win. And we have the IP that is that gives you the fastest, straightest process to being able to produce these rare cannabinoids at high quality and super low cost. And it's going to open up the market to millions and millions and millions of more buyers, because it's going to be more affordable for millions and millions of more people. And just like as CBD got popular, this is next generation CBDs. These are CBDs 5.0. And these rare cannabinoids are known to treat a multitude of different types of medical conditions significantly better than CBD. So you'll see that a lot of the people, we're talking to several of the people in the CBD markets, they're all looking for different ways to get out of the commodity business and differentiate themselves between them and everyone else by adding CBN or CBG or THCV. That will help them significantly. But ultimately, I think that we could do CBG. The margins they're not going to be near as good as on these other products, and that the work's exactly the same.
Dennis, we have hey Barry. Barry has a question. What % of the company? It's a valuation question.
Sure.
Selling for $10 million. So however you want to answer that.
Yeah, no, we're looking for a pre-money valuation of $50 million. I think that we will, we have detailed financial forecasts, the demand for the products there, our ability to be able to produce it's there. Our ability to be able to scale this is, we've got a very clear path to be able to do that. Happy to walk through anybody with it. Not only that, but we have on our team a gentleman that ran a biosynthesis large-scale facility for over a decade or so. And so we have real experience on the ground of how to do this and how to scale it up. And, obviously we're going to continue to look at ways to optimize our process to continue to, drive down costs, because we believe at the end of the day, you're going to have to be 99% plus quality and or pharmaceutical grade, and you're going to have low cost to compete.
Got it. This is a competitor question. May choose to answer it later, or you may not be relevant, and I'm not suggesting, Charles, it's irrelevant, but do you have info on yields and quality of Ginkgo Bioworks? And I don't know what that is, so it may or may not be something.
Well, I mean, just to show you how good our patents are, Ginkgo Bioworks came to us and asked for access to our patents, because we're seeing that a lot of people raised a lot of money in this space, and they ended up driving really fast, spending a lot of money going down dead end streets. And unfortunately, that's the reason why you're not hearing what their yields are and what their cost of productions are. No, everybody's putting out a bunch of PR, but nobody's willing to talk about that even. And that's because that they know that, everybody's really crowded around the 1% yield. And then you have us that has something that is significantly better.
Got it. Okay. Thank you, Max, by the way, for putting all that information about the patent applications. So is there
looks like only option to type for me now?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, so much for having a straight fiber network right into the facility.
Yeah, we have a dedicated fiber network, but you see how it's working.
Yeah, right. So Dennis, to the extent that you're willing and no pressure, can you talk about you don't have to identify them specifically unless you want to, but the nature and type of investors that you presently have?
Well, we have two high net worth individuals that have funded the $3.3 million to date. We have a commitment for $2 million from one of our previous investors to add on to his previous investment. And basically what we're looking for is family offices, money managers, high net worth individuals. It would be nice if somebody had some contacts into distribution, into nutraceuticals, CBD networks, health food products where this could be added into. Because distribution, at the end of the day, I think we have the product, and I think that we have the production that we're going to be able to produce tons of this stuff. Now it's going to be a race to lock up some of the distribution networks that we can distribute globally. In the United States, we have a super clear path. Canada is a very super clear path. I think that we'll have partners in Southeast Asia, Europe, and Latin America that will assist in getting the product distributed in those markets, jumping through whatever hurdles that are there, but it'll be local companies doing it, opposed to us trying to come from America and set up a facility and do the distribution there.
Dennis, can you see this Q&A or no?
Yeah, I guess I'm not scrolling down hard enough.
That's okay. I'll read it to you.
Okay.
I completely second the focus on rares and not CBD. This is from Charles again. You mentioned strong IP position. Is the secret sauce in the genes you are using, ancillary modifications to the yeast, proprietary inputs, process innovations, or other aspects of the production, or yeast strains? So,
all right. Hey, Max, I want you to give this a shot one more time.
Yes. Look, first of all, we have, of course, a mixture between patents and know-hows. For example, we patented some genes. It's completely new genes, never known before, never published before. So it's mean that pretty strong IP here. So, of course, some genes, strain of yeasts, and of course, we have as know-how cultivation conditions. Cultivation conditions is extremely important as well. Sometimes microdoses of amendments can increase yield 5 or 10 times. but it's not for only us.
Hey, Max, you're breaking up really bad again.
Okay.
Yeah. Is there any way that we could have a side discussion on the IP and mean exactly what we do? Because I mean, I can explain some of it, but I think it's best for Max to just to explain it correctly.
Yeah, of course. That question from Charles is, he's offered his email address and asked for the offering member, so you can communicate with him directly. Of course, you'll get all that. We're going to connect everybody with everybody.
Okay.
Of course. So you want to talk a little bit while we wrap things up and a few more questions, Dennis, about the next moves. You talked about the use of proceeds, but maybe
Sure.
sort of just wrap up next steps and what you'd be using the funds for, and what people can look forward to in terms of the milestones happening soon.
Sure. Well, basically what we're doing right now is that we're $10 million to finish the R&D that we have for CBN and THCV. We will set up a large-scale manufacturing facility with this capital as well. It'll be a contract manufacturing. We expect to be profitable third quarter next year. We're projecting $11 million in sales. That might be low, depending on what the astaxanthin orders come in at, which we expect to be sizable. And we're working with Cargill and Critton for those orders, and we are in testing mode now. So our astaxanthin's coming back as crystallized, which is the highest purity in the world, and we're 90%. We're producing it 90% cheaper than the chemical synthetics. So we will be building out our distribution networks. Basically, initially, we're going to be set up as a global supplier for rare cannabinoids and other high-value compounds. Once we see how these products, how well they sell and how well they sell through, what we'll do is we'll gather that data, and then we'll target some products of our own direct to the market. But we're imagining that the first year or two, we will be strictly a supplier. That way, we can get turnkey distribution globally very, very quickly. There's tremendous amounts of partnerships that we can step into, and obviously we'd like to, we're potentially looking at going public next year, Q3, Q4. That's an opportunity for us too. We would probably entertain a SPAC if there was enough capital in it, because we've been getting a significant amount of press lately. We've had 6 articles in the past 2 weeks published on us. We've got a bunch of big feature stories coming up that we've already done the interviews on, coming up in the next week or so. And I think that, between our success, our being able to deliver the results and talk about the results that we've delivered, opposed to just saying, we're going to do great things within this category. And, we're going to have, high quality of rare cannabinoids. We're telling you, ours will be over 99% purity, and it will be, we'll be producing them for less than $1 a gram. And that will be significantly less than anybody else in the space.
Great. So, Dennis, while we wait for a couple other questions, we can. Max, you want to just have a quick closing statement until you break up again?
Yeah, exactly.
And then Dennis, and then we'll make sure we connect everybody with everybody.
Max, you want to try?
Okay. Thank you for attending. So we'll be happy to answer on your additional questions. Obviously, today my connection didn't allow to do it. So we can do it in region, or we can try to use next time, for example, Google Meet or others for direct connection. We'll be happy to answer all your questions.
Great.
Yeah, sure. And then, I think I should leave you with this. Nobody else in this space has done more with in a shorter period of time with less money than us. And we've raised 3.3 million. Almost everybody else has raised 30 million to 100 million dollars, and we are significantly farther ahead than them. And as far as being able to deliver results on yield, costs, and quality. So we believe that once we actually get to the point to where that we get some decent funding, which we think is imminent at this stage, that we're going to be able to scale this up very quickly, and that we know that we'll be able to produce the product, high quality, low cost, and the distribution networks are there. There's plenty of room for multiple players in this space initially. Maybe 5 or 10 years from now, it might get really crowded. But we think that when at the end of the day, when people see the actual results of what the quality and costs are, that we will be the number one player in the space. Great.
So for the record, I didn't say this, but I usually do. We're hosting this Family Office Insights is because I know Dennis, not because I have any skin in the game, and it's not a good thing or a bad thing. I just full disclosure. I just wanted everybody to know that. Also, we have one last question from Nishan. What kind of investment on the company's part would it be required to produce a sub-dollar per gram? What kind of demand in kilos?
Ultimately, we think that we should be able to get it under 10 cents a gram. But basically, we don't want to play too many cards to the market as of yet. So we know that nobody can. Some people might be able to get to $1, but I think their costs will. I don't know. We don't see a clear path for anybody else getting under $1. And once we actually have the results, we think we could get down to 10 cents a gram. So with us, the whole idea is that once we biosynthesize CBG or any of these other compounds, and once we set up large scale production, the costs are the same no matter what compound we go to. CBG is the lowest cost compound that we're going to be targeting, or strain. And these other ones are going for 40, 60, 80, over $100 a gram. So, their markets aren't as big as CBG, but they're getting there. And I think that kind of like quickly the demand for CBD ramped up. I think you're going to start seeing they ramp as well for other compounds, because it's everybody wants the next new hot thing that is better. And we're going to be able to produce that. We're going to produce that high quality, low cost. It's going to. We're definitely going to disrupt this sector for sure.
Great. I think that you just broke up a little bit. So that
Max must have caught it from Max.
Signal to wrap things up. How about that? I'm in Mexico and I haven't broke up yet that I know of.
I know. I got to move to Mexico.
Right. So thank you all for being here today. Thank you, Dennis, for bringing this opportunity to Family Office Insights and kindly doing that. And Max, nice to spend time with you and hear the story and sharing it with the community. We'll make sure everybody's in touch. And I will make sure that Dennis and Max have the list of the people who RSVP'd and attended, and you guys can dig a little deeper. And as always, thank you for sharing your time, the only thing that you don't have more of. So
thank you so much, Arthur. Thank you, everybody, for listening to our story. We would love to have any follow-up calls or answer any information. And we're 100% transparent, so there's nothing off the table. We're happy to share with you, everything that we have. We have a due diligence room that has, that is fully stocked with all the information that you would need.
Awesome. Thanks, Dennis.
Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Everyone.
Right, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.